One morning, when Leonard Lindweld woke up, he found himself transformed in his bed into a teacher. As any transformed teacher would do, he went to the mirror. Nothing had changed. It wasn't until he got out into the streets when he noticed everything had changed. Half a year ago, I decided to become part of the faculty at Vanke Meisha Arts Academy. No one could have predicted it, not even myself. You have to look very far if you want to find another Scandinavian teaching piano in China, and even further if you want to hear his or her reflections. Piano is generally taught one-to-one. My students bring me on a journey I never expect to take. Those journeys are scary. They're unpredictable and there are no shortcuts. A man once walked 200 miles just to hear his favorite musician perform. He was supposed to be gone for 4 weeks, but ended up being gone for 4 months. That was in 1705, and that man was no other than Johann Sebastian Bach. Fast forwarding 314 years later, and he could have simply touched the play button on his smartphone, or at least taken the high-speed rail. But one does not become Bach either on a bullet train or a smartphone. In a society that serves everything on a plastic platter, journeys without shortcuts are more valuable than ever. One needs resilience and integrity. And as my students pick up on these characteristics, they start to improve at an extreme speed. How am I supposed to teach them if I weren't improving at the same pace? One-to-one classrooms are platforms for flexibility and responsibility. As my students grow, I grow with them. A teacher's theories becomes the practice of a student, which in turn spawns even more theories. In an academic avalanche of sources, works cited, and references, this is the classroom for your own voice to be heard. 90% of gadgets are made for the right hand, but not piano. For everyone that doesn't know, piano is played by 2 hands. Mind-blowing fact number 2, they are both important. My this hand is Scandinavian, while my this hand is Asian. It's a very awkward combination. This hand grew up in schools learning that it's not important to win, but it's important to have fun, while this hand was a nightmare because it thought winning was very, very fun. Now, the relationship between both hands are like the relationship between student and teacher, which in turn resembles the relationship between an audience and performer. The artists have to find the right audience, and the audience have to find the right performance. When everything comes together, wonderful experience was created that could last a lifetime. I found my audience in Shenzhen. Our concert hall at VMAA is a classroom, both metaphorically and literally. And our audience is our students, both metaphorically and literally. This is nerve-wracking. How am I supposed to perform in both an educational and inspirational way? How can I make the audience listen to both hands? We have 2 hands. Think about that for a moment. How much do we utilize both? As typing is gradually replacing writing, is piano an instrument of history or an instrument for the future. As I am wrapping up my speech, I want to leave you with 3 thoughts. The future of a student will become the history of a teacher. And the history of a teacher is dependent on the future of a student. Be suspicious to short-term teaching. Without craft, inspiration is like a thin tree ready to be blown by the tiniest of gusts. As you are walking in to Leonard Lindweld's classroom and finding him transforming into a 2-handed piano teacher, what journey will you bring him on? Thank you.